नमामि शंकराचार्य गुरुपाद सरोरुहं तस्य प्रसादान् मूढोऽपि सर्वज्ञोऽहं सदा भवम् कामाक्षी करुणारूपं कामकोटि जगद्गुरुं चिन्मूर्तिं कलये चित्ते शंकराचार्यमभ्युदम् वेद वेदांत साम्राज्य धर्म कामार्थ मोक्षदम् विद्यारण्यं नमः पुण्यं यो विद्यारण्यमच्छनति सदाशिव श्री ब्रह्मेन्द्र धृतस्वपद पादुकान् धीरान् परशुरेन्द्रार्यान् ध्यायान् सप्तमहति अपार करुणा सिंधुं भारतं शान्तरूपेण श्री चंद्रशेखरगुरुं प्रणमामि दारुणः देवे देहे च देशे च प्रत्यारोग्य सुखप्रदं बोध पामर सेव्यं तं श्री जयेन्द्रं नमाम्यहं नमामि शंकरात्माख्य विजयेन्द्र सरस्वती श्री गुरुं श्रेष्ठमार्गानं एतारं सहितं सदाशिवसमारम्भां शंकराचार्य अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Starting yesterday, which was Ashada Shukla Ekadashi, Budhanuradha Amrita Siddhi Yoga Punyakala, and also the day in which the 70th Jagadguru Shankaracharya of the Shri Kanchi Kamagoti Madana Sarvagya Veetham, Shri Shankara Vijayam Saraswati Shri Sharma, completed his Kashi Triveni Rameshwara Yatra at Rameshwaram. We have, and in this year, when 2500 years since Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda attained Siddhi, we have started by Bhagavad Kripa this series on examining the original Shankara Vijaya texts, and of them we have taken up the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, which is composed by one Anandagiri, who describes himself as the direct disciple of Shri Shankara Bhagavatpāda, even though he refers to Bhagavatpāda by the term Paramaguru out of high respect. He is not the Prashishya, he is not the Shishya of Bhagavatpāda, but he refers to himself as the direct Shishya. So, and in the first Prakarana of the Grantha, the author of the Shankara Vijaya, the Anandagiriya Shankara Vijaya, he describes, he gives a table of contents, and he very clearly says, Mama Paramaguroha Avatara Prayojanam Varnagami. He is completely convinced that Srimad Shankara Bhagavatpāda is the avatara of Parameshwara. And the first chapter after the table of contents, he says that Mama Paramaguroha Avatara Katha is the topic of the first chapter. That is the second chapter starting from the beginning. Avatara Katha means the story by which Bhagavatpāda was born. So here he starts with describing general sriti, overall sriti by Brahma, who created all the varnashramas and who taught the dharmas, the pravritti dharma and the nivritti dharma to his santati, to the prajas that he created. And Brahma, over the course of time, as mentioned yesterday, Bhagavatpāda says, Anushthatrunam Kamodbhava, because it is the nature of the senses to seek out the external objects of the senses and to become enamored by the apparent beauty of those objects. So, because of that, people tend to leave dharma, even though it was what Brahma taught them. So, people over the course of time, they left dharma and they went into the path whichever they felt was right by their limited knowledge. So that is why over the course of time, as we say in the Puranas in Srimad Bhagavata, it is described that dharma is described as a bull, and of its four legs, tapas, daya, shaucha and satya, only the fourth leg of satya is remaining in this Kali Yuga, and even that fourth leg, the Kali Purusha is trying to cut off. This is what is described in the Srimad Bhagavata, and how Parikshit went to control Kali Purusha and all that. That story is there in the Srimad Bhagavata. So here, the second Prakarana of the Anandagiri Shankara Vijaya talks about Kshine Punye Lupta Dharmataya, as mentioned yesterday itself. We will be summarizing the contents of all the prakaras, even though some of them may be very technical. But we will be examining definitely directly some passages, some prose passages and some verse passages also. क्षीणे पुण्ये लुप्त धर्मतया तपो लेशभाजि कलौ युगे. Over the course of time, the punya pravritti of people has dwindled and dharma has been lost. Tapas, maybe a few people perform a certain amount of tapas in this Kali Yuga. People paraspara ragadi krasteshu satya jnana shunyeshu. People are totally caught up in raga and dvesha. Some people overly like are enamored of other people. Some people totally hate other people. All these extremes are difficult. Satya jnana shunyeshu. They do not care about what is satya, what is true, and what is jnana. Nigamachara parityakteshu agamachara rateshu. Here the word nigama means the Vedas, the Vedika granthas. Agama. Actually, Agama has its own role, especially for the as far as the temples are concerned. Agamas have they are described in the Agama text as coming from Sakshat Shiva or Vishnu or whatever is the Upasya Devata, and they are needed for the procedures to be followed in the temples for the Lokakshan, no doubt about it. But when people, and it is the true followers of Agama also follow the practices of the Shruti Smriti as far as possible to them. But when somebody starts talking about Agamachara without any reference, without caring about the Nigamachara, that is, without following the Vedokta Karmanusthana, says that I will only follow the practices which are necessary for the upasana of one particular Devata Murti, then it will take people into the wrong path. Loka Pravritti Kachidasi, it was a very strange situation in the world. Kechit Chambhurata Pare Harirata Vanisha Bhakta Pare. So he gives later on when he talks about all the matas which were vanquished by Acharya, almost all of those matas he has mentioned here. He says that some people say that we are following Shiva, some people say that we are following Vishnu, some people say we are following Brahma and Agni and Surya and Vignesha and Shakti, Bhairava and so on, so on, so on. Some people even say I am following Kubera, I am following Indra, I follow Yama, Varuna, Vayu, Bhumi, water, Jaladevata, Akasha Devata, and so many such strange matas which we have probably not even heard today. Some people were following the Anumata, say the atoms are what is most important. Maybe they were doing Upasana of the Anu, we don't know. Some people say Chandra is important, Mangala is important, all the Navagraha matas are coming here. Soumya, Buddha, Brihaspati, Shukra, Shanishchara, and Kala, Pitras, the four ancestors are what is important. Some say that Naga Devatas are what is important. Some say in opposite to this, Garuda Devata is what is important. So like this Siddha, Gandharva, and some even say that we have to do Upasana of Bhutas and Vetalas. Evam Nara Prabheda Asit Nrinam Vritti Yathepsita. Whatever they thought, whatever Veshabhusha they wanted to decorate themselves with, they would decorate themselves and say that we have to follow this. And this is what is correct. They even went to the extent of saying that this is what is Vedokta. Kechit Svavrittim Vedadyev Pratipatnyam Samuchidare. And they would say that, they say that by following this dharma, you will definitely get mukti, moksha, liberation. Kechit dharmair yam muktihi iti jalpam samashritaha. But did they get any kind of Atma Guna out of those upasanas? No. Anyonyam Atsarakrastaha Paraspara Jayeshana. He used to be filled with Matsara or hatred or jealousy towards the others. They wanted to achieve victory over the others. Jayachhagriti Mangeshu Dharayanto Madhatpitaha. They were full of pride and excessive garva. Their own matas, and they used to decorate their bodies with all whatever they wanted to do, they used to do. And what kind of various mata chinhas The symbols they used to decorate their bodies with are described much detail here. I'm not going to read out all those details. Linga Trishuda Namarvadi Chinham. Those who are following Shiva, they used to decorate their body with the symbols of Linga, Shivalinga, the Trishula and Damaru and all that. Those who are the followers of Vishnu, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, the Chinnam, the symbols of Vishnu. Kamandala Kurcha, the Chinnam, followers of Brahma. Ekadanta Chinnam, followers of Ganesha, and so on, so on, so on. So as just like Tala Tamara, Himtala in the Champu Ramayana, the trees of the Ashokavana are described. Just like that, very long Gadyas are here. Swarnadi Rajita Shankha Chakra Chaturbahutva, the Dandatotra, Baditva, the Chinnam, Pushpa Kodanda, the Bakalpita Vasantotsama Bhushana, the Chinnam, Navavidana Rupa Kantamalika, the Chinnam, Maniratna Vajrayudha, the Dharana, the Chinnam. So much, so many Chinnhas are described here, even for the followers of Chandra. Purnamasadi Kala Vishesha Chandropasana, the Chinnam, they used to have Chinnhas for the various phases of the moon. Angaraka, all the Navagrahas, they used to invent some Chinnhas symbols for all those Chinnhas. Some used to say that Chita Bhasma Dhurana. You have to take the Bhasma from the Smashana and apply it on the body. Bahuvidam Ityada Bahuvidam Yathecham Sampadya. People used to invent something and say that is what is right. Svetha Viharana Silaha Vartaha. They would just frolic as whatever they desired. What did they do? They forgot, as mentioned earlier, they forgot the Vedic Karmanushtanas. See where he starts. They Aharahas Sandhyamupasi Ityadi Vividha Vachanani Vedayan. The Sandhyavantana. It is said to be a Srota Karmanusthana. This is said to be a Shruti Vakya. We don't know in what Shaka it is there. But it is said to be a Shruti Vakya. Daily we must do perform Sandhyavandana. And all these people who are following all these matas, they have disregarded all the Vedic Karmanushtanas and they are giving pain to the Veda Vakyas. What is the meaning of giving pain to the Veda Vakyas? This Anandagiriya was a direct disciple of Bhagavatpāda, so he would have learned the bhashyas of Bhagavatpāda. This is the usage which is there in the bhashyas themselves. Vividha Vachanani Pidayan. What pains the Veda Vakyas? How can the Veda Vakyas feel pain? So, to explain this, we will explain one Veda mantra which says that the Veda itself describes itself as your friend. Yes, Tityat Sakibidam Sakhayam. The Veda is so much of a hitaishi to you. It is trying to teach you what is good. But sometimes, if you really don't give importance to the hitopadesha of a friend, Natasya Vachapi Bhago Asti, then what use of it is talking about him? A friend who absolutely wishes nothing from you in return. Suhridaha Krishnadayaha Pratyupakaram Anapeksha Upakartaraha is what is there in Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. Who does not want anything from you in return. What does the Veda want from us in return? The Veda is giving us Upadesha. It is telling us, do this is good for you. If at all he listens to the Veda Vakyas, he listens to it without faith. Yadiyam Srinod Tyalakam Srinodi Nahi Praveda Sukritasya Mantha. So he does not understand what is the path of good. So that when that happens, the friend feels, I have given him so much advice. Why did I spend this much time and effort in advising him? He has totally disregarded. What is the nashta? What is the loss of this friend? Absolutely nothing. But he tried to do something good. But that fellow, he is not listening to the Upadesha and he is going into the Durmarg. Looking at this, the friend, out of the own good nature, he feels bad. Why does he go and fall into this pit of dharma? So that is the pida, that is the hurt that is felt by the Veda Vachanas, by the Shastra Vachanas, which are trying to teach us something true. So that is why it is said, Vividha Vachanani Pidayanti. Those who are not following these Veda Vakyas, they are hurting the Veda Vakyas, is how it is described. Karma Bhrashtan. So, seeing all this, one very well known figure, normally he is known as a Kalaha Priya. He is actually a great Bhagavata. He is actually a great Loka Hitaishi. He is actually a great Anubhavita of the Brahmananda. That Brahmananda is what he is carrying the Veena and he is singing in the form of melody. Those who understand him understand who you would have understood by now, Narada. So is the son of Brahma. Sadrishtva Narada Shikram. What did Narada see? Karma Prashtan. He, during the travel through all the lokas, he came to Bhumi Loka and he sees people in this Kali Yuga. Karma Prashtan. They are not following the Karma Anushtanas. Parananda Dhuran. They are not following the Parabrahmananda. If they follow the Pravritti Dharma, then later on they will attain the Nivritti Dharma, and through the Nivritti Dharma they will get that Parabrahmananda. But they are traveling in the wrong path. If you are traveling in this direction, if you go in this direction, you will go and attain Ananda. The Brahmananda you will attain. But you are not following. You are going in the opposite direction. How will you attain Brahmananda? Even in the Srimad Bhagavata, it is said that Narada came upon the Bhakti Devata who was having her two sons, Jnana and Vairagya, who had attained Murcha, who had fallen unconscious, and Narada thought, what is the upaya to revive these two? And so there he learned that the Bhagavata Anusandhana is what is the upaya. That is there in the Bhagavata Mahatmya. Anyway, the sage Narada, he is so much concerned about the welfare of the world. So he thinks that these people, they are following the wrong path and they are going far away from Parabrahmananda. So the word Naradhama, he is using with so much karuna. He's not using as ninda. You say, Array, these are Naradhamas and disregards and goes about, then he has no karma. So as Bhagavatpāda says, Dhirna Swayam Bhima Bhavarnavan Janan Hetunanyanapi Karayantaha Vasantavallo Loka Hitam Charantaha Shantam Mahatma Nivasanti Satta. The Sat Mahatmas like Narada, they have themselves crossed the ocean of samsara. Then why should they come back to this samsara and why should they even look at all these duracharas? But Lokahitam Charantaha, they want to do Lokahitam. Tirna Swajam Bhima Bhavarnavam Ahetuna, without absolutely any reason, without any Prati Prayojana. They are Anyanapi Karayantaha. They are trying to make efforts to bring others who have fallen in the mud of all these samsara dharmas. They are trying to bring them up. So that Narada, so he sees all this. Shigrabhava Brahma Padantikam. He didn't think, okay, let me go to two more lokas and then go to Brahmaloka. No. Absolutely no delay should be there. He immediately went to Brahmaloka. Oh Tata, oh my father, because Brahma is his father. Oh Tata, Nutara Babu Jagadeta Darvak. Recently, last time when I went to Boloka, it was not like this. He used to do Triloka Sanchari or Chaturta Shambhora Sanchari. He used to keep traveling across all the lokas. So, such Mahatmas, for what? For monitoring all these things and going and reporting to the appropriate authorities. So he came recently, it has been like this, it was not like this last time when I went to Goloka. What Chitra Yukti Parikalpita Karmashilam? They are not following Brahma. What did he do? The Bhagavata beginning it says that Tere Brahma Hridaya Adikavaya Paramatma, whether you can consider him as Shiva or as Vishnu, he taught Brahma by the Sankalpa Matra, he gave the jnana of Sakala Vedas to Brahma. Brahma is the Veda Purusha. Chaturamraya Vadavadam Sadapi. He wanted to do, Brahma is so enamored of the Vedas that he wanted to do Chaturveda Parayana at the same time. So he has 4 heads, and with each head, he is doing one Veda Parayana at the same time. So how much Brahma is invested. He is himself the Vedamaya Purusha. He is not just, he has learned the Vedas. He is himself the Vedamaya Purusha. And the Kalamaya Vidya Devi Saraswati is his consort. That Brahma, he has taught these Vedas and the Vedokta Dharmas to his sons. So Narada comes to him and says, oh father, you taught us all these dharmas, but what is happening in this world? They are totally disregarding all these dharmas. Vak Chitra Yukti Parikalpita Karmashilam. They have totally disregarded the Vedokta Upadeshas. They have themselves invented something. They are creating new kinds of very magic. They are using some Vag Chalas. Very beautiful. What seems to be beautiful. Somebody who absolutely knows nothing, he starts talking about some, he has some, they call it the gift of the gab in English. It's an old word. But gift of the gab means he is just simply talking what is called kapola kalpita in Sanskrit. Absolutely, it doesn't mean that what he is. Vacho yukti paturvagni bhavadu koti bhaktiri. Amarkosha says, who is vacho yukti patu, who talks with shastra adhara, he is called Vagni. But he who talks too much, he is called Vavaduka. So they are creating what appears to be beautiful, very great vadas. But and what are they doing? Based on those vadas, they are creating new kinds of practices and say that these are the practices that are appropriate. But oh, Kaladijata, you Brahma, you were born at the beginning of time. Adijata, the Upadesha which you told, which you gave to us, Bhavan What is Bhavan Matam? Brahma, does he has any Matam of his own? He is the Veda Purusha. Bhavan Brahma Matam means the Veda Mata. If your Mata is disregarded, what the Veda Mata you have taught, if that is disregarded, Nigamartha Parampara Syatyartha. The Vedartha Parampara will go to waste if your Mata, which your Upadesha is disregarded. What is the Upadesha of Brahma that Narada describes here? Narada describes here means the Anandagiri. Yes, because all the Shruti Smriti Vakyas are given here. Bhagavad Gita Vakya is given here. Of course, Bhagavad Gita was definitely before Shankara Bhagavatpāda. So, Anandagiri, how he has quoted Bhagavad Gita, there is no doubt about it. But we may ask whether Narada actually quoted that. We do not insist on it, but the Tatparya of all these Shruti Smriti Purana Vakyas, Narada has submitted to Brahma, is what Anandagiri wishes to say. Says, Bhavadbhi Purvidamuktam, you taught us this. What? When you taught us the Chandogya Upanishad of the Samaveda, said Sadeva Somya Namakravasit, you said that what was there at the beginning, before Srishti, was called Sat, was termed by the word Sat. Sat means truth. And when you taught us the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of the Yajurveda, it said Brahmava Idamakravasit. It's termed the same, whatever the truth was there before Srishti, you called it by the name Brahma. Brahma is in English, in Sanskritam, when it is used in the masculine gender, Brahma refers to the four-faced Prajapati. And Brahma refers to either the Paratattva or it refers to Veda. So, and there are some other meanings also, but the chief meanings are these. Brahma, the Brahma Tattva. That word is also used to refer to what was there before Srishti. And when you taught us the Rigveda in the Aitariya Upanishad, you said that Atma va idameke vagrasi. All the other words are same, but only the first word is different. So, what is there? The first word. So it says that the first word is Atma. So what is Atma? What is Brahma? What is Sat? All are one and the same. Yadadamastamna divana ratrihi nasanna chasantiva eva kevalaha tadaksharam savidarumarenyam prajnaja tasmat prasrita purani. In the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, what did you teach us? It was tamas, it was darkness before the Srishti. Darkness is with reference to the Laukika Prakasha. We think that we are seeing all these things today. Before this, it was darkness. No Divana Ratrihi. There was no daytime, there was no night time. There was no Sat, no Asat. All these are the Saransha of the Nasadiya Sukta of both the Yajurveda and the Rigveda. And we are not going into detail into describing the meaning. There are lots of nuances there. The Bhashya there is very extensive, the Veda Bhashya. Shivayeva Kevalaha. The Shiva, the Paramamangala Paramatma, was the one who was there before Srishti. That was what is taught by the Gayatri Mantra, that is the Aksharam. And from that Shiva is all this Jnana Parampara, which we have received today as spread. Smritishcha, Ksharas Sarvani Bhutani, Bhutastha Akshara Uchate. The Smriti, the Bhagavad Gita, what does it say? Just as all these Panchamaha Bhutas and the entire Srishti, it is Kshara, it is impermanent. Bhutastha Akshara Uchate. What is Akshara? Yes, what is permanent among all these Vinashyat Swavinashyantam? So many other verses in the Bhagavad Gita. It points to what does not change, among this world which keeps changing. That is termed as Akshara. And it also, Bhagavad Gita also says elsewhere, Uttama Purushas Tvanyaha Paramatme Tudahrataha. Apart from the jivas who are in every world, every body, there is one jiva who is seeing and speaking and acting in that body. There is another Chaitanya who is called Parama. This is one Kshudra Purusha, Kshetrajna. Kshudra means, compared to the Paramatma, he is limited in his knowledge. But apart from him, the Parama Purusha is Purushottama. He is called Paramatma. These verses are there in the Bhagavad Gita. And the same Paratattva, who is described in the Upanishads before Srishti, is described as Paramatma after the Srishti, during the Prapancha Vyavahara Kala, and whatever Karmanusthana, all the Varnashramas, whatever Varna and whatever Ashrama they may belong to, whether Sri or Purusha, everything, whatever they do, Yadhyat Karma Karoni Tattakhilam Shambho Tavarajanam, it has to be done towards Samarpana to Bhagavan Parameshwara. Swakarmana Tamabhyarthi Siddhim Viddhati Manavaha. So, this is the dharma that you have taught us. The Pravritti Dharma and the Nivritti Dharma. Ekameva Daivatam Sadadi Saptavacham. That is the one truth which is spoken, which is pointed to by all these words, whether it is Sat or Brahma or Atma or Shiva or Akshara or Purusha or Paramatma. All these words are referring to the same Paratattva. Tasya Gunadhita Vrittehe Lingabhavat is the next words, the phrases. They are very technical in nature. They say that why the paragraph ends with saying Nirupadhikam Brahmaiva Mumukshu Nirupasana. Why is it talking about this? Because Narada, he sees the world and he sees that everybody is trying to promote their own mata, whether Shiva or Vishnu or all these things. But the one true mata, which absolutely has no conflict with any of these matas, and which actually is the sutra which can bring together all these matas, is that the Paratattva is Nirupadhi. What is Upadhi? Upadhi, very simply put, I am giving a very simplified explanation. Whatever names and forms that we are giving to that Paramatma for our convenience of Upasana, they are all names and forms within the ambit of this Prapancha. But they are not part of the true nature of that Paramatma. The true nature of the Paramatma is that Akshara Swarupa, whatever was described before Srishti. And on top of that, this Upadhi, whatever the, maybe we can call it a covering, it is coated. If there is silver and the silver is coated with gold, then the gold is merely a covering. And it is not part of the actual Vastu. Right? So, the Upadhi is what is covering the Paramatma. That is what is called Maya. The Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, the three gunas, which will be described probably later on in one of these adhyayas, the three gunas are what constitute Maya. And the Maya is the Upadhi which is covering Paramatma, and the Paramatma with the covering of Maya, he is called Saupadhika, Upadhina Sahita. That Paramatma is called Ishvara. That is why it is called Mayantu Prakritam Vidyan Mayanam to Maheshwaram, it is said. So when he has the covering of Maya, he becomes Sopadhika and he is Vyavaharaspata. He is involved in all this Prapancha Vyavahara. But the actual form, the core form, the true form, the permanent form, what is permanent? Permanent is that which is there even before Sriti or which is after Pralaya, which is again before the next Sriti. That true form is only the Satchidananda form. All these names and forms of Shiva or Vishnu or whatever all the names that you may give, they are all only for the Vyavaharaka. This is what is shown by all these Upanishads, which are saying that by the names of Sat, Brahma, Atma, Akshara, and all these names which are generic, we do not refer to only Shiva, they do not refer to only Vishnu. These are generic and refer to the true nature of the Tattva. And these Upanishads point that that is the true nature of Bhagavan, of whatever it needs to be the object of Upasana. But leaving this, what are all these people doing? They are saying that Vishnu is the true nature, Shiva is the true nature, and whatever other names and forms that they want to give. When they do that, they start coming into conflict with one another. Because if Vishnu is the true nature, then Shiva cannot be the true nature if they limit themselves to those names and forms. But when you come to the Shuddha Advaita Darshana, Shuddha Advaita is maybe later on it has come to term a particular Siddhanta or particular Acharya. But here in this Grantha, Shuddha Advaita means the Advaita as truly, purely explained by the Upanishads. What does it say? It says that the nameless and formless is the true nature of Paramatma. When you say that the same nameless and formless Paramatma has taken up all these names and forms, Nama Rupa, for the sake of Upasana of devotees or of people of Jivas, then there is absolutely no conflict. The Paramaguru of Sri Shankara Bhagavatpāda, I'm using Paramaguru in the technical sense, not of Anandagiri sense, the Guru's Guru of Sri Shankara Bhagavatpāda, Gaudapada Acharya, in his Mandukya Karya, he says that Vivadamo Nataisartham Avivadan Nivodhana. We do not conflict with anybody. People who are in particular about one particular mata, one particular name and form, they will definitely go into conflict. But when we are talking about the nameless and formless truth, which is taking up all these names and forms, so what is then? The same person can be a teacher, he can be a father, he can be a friend or something else. So what conflict is there? So that for that purpose, Narada is quoting all these Shruti Smriti Puranas, and he says the true form is Gunathita Prittehe Linga Bhava. The true form is Gunathita. He is beyond all these Sattva-rajas Tamo Gunas which are creating all these names and forms. But that true form cannot be understood, cannot be identified by any linga. The word linga, it means a symbol which indicates the existence of something else. If there is a board and the board has an arrow pointing this direction, or there is some symbol, a tap with water, you see means that there is some water tap there, water is available there, or something else. So the symbol, what is the symbol here? Here, the word linga is used in the sense that, for example, if you look at, if you see or smell smoke, then you can immediately identify that there is a fire. So the smoke is the linga, the hetu, and the fire is the sadhya. This is the process of inference. You infer that there is fire without even having seen the fire, or even definitely not touching the fire, just by the smoke, the smell of the smoke or the form of smoke, you infer that there is fire. So if the true nature of Paramatma, because it is Gunathita, it is not visible to any of our senses. It is not knowable by Pratyaksha. And so it is not knowable by inference also. Because you smell the smoke or you see the smoke, then you infer that there is fire. But any such lingas for the inference of Paramatma do not exist. So it has to be known only by Shruti. Shrutyeka Samadhigamya. But so that is the nature of the Nirupadhika Swarupa of Bhagavan. But on top of that, people say that this Sopadhika, these people who are interested in all these particular names and forms, they are interested in only the Sopadhika. Here the word is Tatsatve Mana Bhavat, it has to be understood as Sopadhikasya Satve Mana Bhavat. The Sopadhika form, how do we know that that is the Sat, which was mentioned that earlier? The Sat or the Brahman or the Atman, which are mentioned earlier, are not having all these names and forms. So it is not possible to say that these are mentioned, these are referred to, these names and forms are referred to by those Upanishad Bhatyas. So the final truth, what actually needs to be reached in the end is Nirupadhikam Brahma, that which is nameless and formless. So this is the situation. Surutva Deva Pramana, as they say in the Natakas. So you please do what is necessary accordingly. That sentence we have to understand here. It is not physically present in the text, but maybe it is lost. Whatever is obtained from the manuscripts, they have given here. But it is very clear what is the intent of Narada in saying all this. Evam Narada Vachanam Nishamyam Brahma Charam Dhyatva. Brahma, upon listening to this Narada Vachanam, was quite worried. So, Swalokat, Putra Mitra Kalatra Bhatta Yuktaha Shivalokam Parisha. Another beauty of this Anandagiriya Shankara Vijayam is that it uses lots of phrases we may think that this Sanskritam seems to be very of what kind of Sanskritam is being taught nowadays. But it's not like that. Sanskritam, we can find such usages, Gatavan, Agatavan, such kind of usages, Kritavan. It is not only today's modern Sanskritam for the simplified Sanskritam which is being taught for popularizing. Even such usages are found there in many places in the Bhashyas also. But of course, in the earlier days, he used to be very easily using all the other verb forms also. But anyway, why I am saying this Putra Mitra Kalatra, it sounds like a Kalyan Vivaha Patrika. So you please come with all your patni and your sons and children and your friends. So who is Brahma's Putra? Narada, who reported it to him. Who is his Mitra? So Brahma's Mitra, this is a very difficult question to answer. So what I think is here, because Brahma, because above Brahma, normally we consider Vishnu and Shiva are above Brahma, and Indra and other people are below Brahma. So who is Brahma's friend? Kalatra is Dharmapatri, Saraswati is Kalatra, is mentioned separately. So who can be his friend? So whoever are close to him in the sense of the status. Because who is above him Vishnu and who is below him Indra, Vishnu, because of his magnanimity, he considers himself as the friend of Indra. The Veda itself says, Indrasya Yujjaha Sakha. Vishnu is the friend of Indra. Veda says it. And the same attitude is being reflected in the Krishna avatar. Because Krishna is the avatar of Vishnu and Arjuna is the avatar of Indra. So even Arjuna later on he says, "Oh, I thought you were my friend and I called you this and that names." So that attitude, when Vishnu himself has so much magnanimity and considers himself the friend of Arjuna. So what to say? No need to say about Brahma who is in between. So you can take that because in Sadashiva Brahmendra's Jagadguru Ratnamala, he says, Avatarya Suran Paramshcha Purvam Vidhi Vishnu Indra Mukhan Vinoda Purvam. He says that Parameshwara tells Brahma, Vishnu, Indra and the others to go to the Bhuloka and take Avatara. So that we can take that by the word Mitra, these Vishnu and Indra, he came and with all these people he did Pravesha of Shivaloka. If he himself went, he would have easily said, hey, Brahmalokam, Shivalokam, Agamatil. But here it says Shivalokam. Ravishat, such a huge retinue group of people went to Shivaloka. Tatra, what kind of Shiva did they see? Beautiful description of Shiva. Madhyana Koti Surya Tejasam. Madhyandere Prabalamadhita, Tasmat Tarihi Tekshnishthatapati. We very well know the Veda itself says the Surya of Madhyana, very bright. So Madhyana Koti Surya Tejasam. A crore suns of the afternoon, of the noon. So such brilliance is seen in Parameshwar. But if crore suns, it will be so hot also. No. Koti Himamshu Sheetalam is as cool as a crore moons. Panchavatram, 5 heads Sadyojata and 5 heads of Shiva. Chandramauli, he is wearing the crescent moon on his head. Vidyut Pinga Jatadhara, his jata is reddish and bright like lightning bolts. Parvati Vamartha Shariranam, he has the Dharmapatri, his Shakti in his entire left half of his body. Mahadevan Drishtva, that Parameshwara, Brahma sees and Dandavat Prasagana Pranamya. He immediately did Sartanga Namaskara to Parameshwara. Sampudita Hasta Yugalaha, he joined his hands together. And Brahma Kila Uvacha, what did Brahma say? Bho Mahadeva. It's like that Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishweshwaraya Mahadeva. What kind of a beautiful series of words are upcoming. Like what they say in those Mala Mantras, Bho Mahadeva Sarvatya Sarva Lokesha. I'm not going to translate all these words, many of them are very familiar to us, but I will just explain a few words. Sarvatya Sarva Lokesha, Sarva Sakshin, Sarva Maja, Sarva Dharana, Sarva Atmaka, who is of the nature of Atma of all these, Sarva, whatever things are there in the world. Sarva Ajita, who is beyond everything. Sarva Deva Vandita Jaranada Vinda, whose lotus feet are bowed to by all the Devatas. Pranava Swarupa, who is of the nature of Pranava. The Omkara. Pranavatita, who is above beyond the Omkara. Pranava Gochara, who is indicated by the Pranava. Tasya Vachak of Pranavaha is the Patanjali Sutram, Yoga Sutram. Kala Rupa, he is of the nature of Kala. He is Kalatita, he is beyond Kala. Kamaniya Vigraha is of a beautiful form. And normally people think that Manmatha is beautiful. Kandarpa Hara. Yes, vanquished Kandarpa. Alright? Kandarpa is the Kamadeva from whom will I obtain my objects of desire. Parmeshwara will give it to you. Kamidartha Prada. Don't worry. Why should Parmeshwara give to me? Karunakara. Because he of his general benevolence. Oh, such Parmeshwara. Savadhanena Manasa. Please pay attention. Absolutely not necessary, but because of his worry, he is saying that Parmeshwara definitely won't get angry. Savadhanena Manasa Madhiyam Vijnapanam Avadharya. Please listen to my submission. You are Turiya Pranavadhita. You are the fourth, apart from that Jagrat Swapna Sushukti, the three states of the world. You are apart, the fourth, apart, beyond that. You are Pranavadhita, as mentioned earlier, you are beyond the Pranava. And you are of the Satyajnana Ananta Swarupa. But from you, the Pranava is Akara, Ukara, Makara, and beyond that, the Mandukya Upanishad says that beyond that is Amatra. There is silence, and that silence indicates the Turiya. The Chaturtha, the fourth state. Fourth is actually not fourth, really fourth, but beyond the three is what is intended. But in some Upanishads, there are various stages, even in the Tamatra, after the three matras, various stages like Nada, Bindu, Kala, and so many things are there explained, described in so many Upanishads. But here, not so much detail, but it is just mentioned as Ardha Bindu, as if the transition stage between the Anuswara and the Bindu and the silence. Ardha Bindu Rupa Prakriti Rutmanna. So, Maya was first manifested at the beginning of Sriti. Tava etasyaha. So that Shakti is sitting in half of the body of Parameshwara. She was sitting on the lap of Parameshwara, but she merged within the body of Parameshwara. That is beautifully described in Sodaralari anyway. So the etasyashta, the word etasyaha, her in front of me. Chandra Chandrika Nyayena Shuddha Advaitata. Moon is not different from his light. So Shakti is not different from Shiva. Saiva Twameva iti siddham. Normally it says, one would write Saivatvam Twameva Sa. But this is a shortcut. Saiva Twameva. She is the same as you are the same as what? She and you. It is siddham. So from that, so in the Vilomakrama he comes Tat Sakashan Makaraha. Tat Sakashan Ukaraha. Tat Sakashan Ukaraha. The entire Pranava was manifested from that Paratattva, which is you. And by such Pranavadita Swarupa, you, by your orders, Aham Bhavadadhyaya, I am creating the four kinds of Jivarashis. What four kinds? What are born from Andaja, what are born from eggs, and in that itself, what are born from in dirty conditions, Svedaja, and what are born from Garbha, by staying within the body of the mother, Janayuja, and what are born by breaking the mud and splitting the mud and coming up the trees, Uddhita, Chaturvidha, Jangaman, the four kinds of living beings, Parvatadi, Sthavanamsha, the immovable things that are like the mountains, etc. Srishtva, what else did I create? Samudra, Dvipa, I created the oceans, I created the islands, I created the mountains, I created the rivers, I created the forests, I created cows, I created horses. Samudra Dvipa Giri Nadi Vanagoduraka Martya Karisimha Vyagra Bhalluka, the beautiful Gadya. I created cows, horses, I created humans, I created elephants, I created lions, I created tigers, I created bears, and so many other Jivarashis. And even among human beings, I created so many people, so many different kinds of people. Tat Dharma Sanchara Shilam, each person different kind of Swabhava. Kritva, I finished all my work. I finished my duty. And I thought my duty is done. And I went to Dhyana. Without any worries, I was doing your Dhyana. But what happened to me? Bhavat Charanara Vindadi Dhyana Sakte Magi. My Dhyana was disturbed. Snarada came to me with a complaint. What did he say? Mayi Satyaloka Shritoye. I should not complain about Narada. He is doing something good. Why? Bhuloke Kashchidupadravaha Samuthito Bhutu. The Bhuloka has come to this kind of difficulty. What? Shuddhacharam Paritijya Mithacharam Samasritaha Pradijo Vichitraistu Lingais Santapta Dehinaha. People who are adorning their bodies with different kinds of symbols. As mentioned earlier, they have disregarded all the Vedokta Karmanushtanas. They have created new kinds of false acharas. Tam naiva yathakalam. What kind of Karmanushtanas did they leave? Already mentioned, Sandhyavandana, forgotten. Utan naiva yathakalam agno havyam samantrataha. Uttering the proper mantras, the havana of the proper dravyas was not done. Why are you not doing that? Arey, I am wearing all these symbols in my body. Nothing else is necessary. I will pray to my Devata and he will take off everything. Take care. In Bhagavad Gita itself, it says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. If anybody goes and reads the bhashya of that, then they will understand what is the meaning of that. So, but they claim that I will decorate my body with all these things. That is enough. I don't need to do Sandhyavandana. I don't need to do Homa. Okay, how about Shraddha, Amavasya, Tarpana and all that? Nadattam Parvadi Prapte Kavyam Pitradi Triptaye. No. I don't know. Why do I need to know that? All the Pitrus and the Devas and everything are there inside my Bhagavan only. If I do Bhagavan Bhakti to my Bhagavan, it is enough. Okay, how about you have to do Veda Dhyana, how to do Parayana of so many Satgranthas? Nadhyapito Brahmayajnaha Satyalokasya Siddhi. Who cares about Brahmayajna? Who cares about Veda Parayana? Who cares about Parayana of all these things, of all these Granthas? When even these basic Karmanushtanas are lost, then what to tell about Somayagas and other big things? Nagdishtomam, na Akrenam. But when we get new harvest, we have to give it to the Devatas first. It is what is said in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma told the Devatas and the Manushas, you have to take care of each other. When all these things are, these pravritti dharmas are themselves lost, we should not even talk about sannyasa. Very difficult. Karoti manujah kashit sarve pakhantamasrita. They are following their own false paths. Everybody is like that. Some are saying we are followers of Vishnu. Some are saying we are followers of Shiva. Vishnu dasa vajan cheda vajam ishana linkinaha. Look at me. I am wearing all this. I am wearing this vibhuti. I am wearing this kunkuma. That is enough. Some are saying I am Bhairava, Arka, Ganesha, Nam, Devya, Bhaktascha, Kesara. We are devotees of all these devatas. They are claiming. Just note this. The Shan Matas which are mentioned in the last chapter, the Shan Mata Sthapana are mentioned here. The Panchayatana plus Bhairava Mata. We will discuss that later. And even other Durmatas, even worse, some other worse practices. Kechat Kapalika Achara, there are some those who are saying that we have to carry skulls along with us. Madhya Maunsa Ashinastada, some are saying that we have to drink all these whatever the Nishitha drinks, prohibited drinks, and Mamsa, eat Mamsa, that is the great thing some are saying. And when they are talking about all these Dvaitas, Ekasyeva Matasyapi, Veda Shakkam Samashritaha, even in all these things, they are following so many other varieties. Bahavaha Avantaramataha, so many our internal differences. Siddhantam Tam Samashritaha, Tat Swarupameva Paramiti, Tattad Adritacharaha. They are following those individual practices. And when they are doing that, Satya, speech, truth in speech, Saucha, cleanliness, Dharma, Karma, Jnana. Are you being even reasonable? Bhashava, if the Pashu acts like a Pashu, then it is nothing wrong. If the Pashu removes the waste material from its body and does not clean itself, then it is not wrong for a Pashu. But you are a human being. How should you maintain yourself? Shruti Smriti, Itihasa, Purana, Upapurana, Adi Bhanita, Karma, Jnana, Rupa, Madhya, Dvayam Paritijya. So many granthas. In Patanjali Mahabhashya, he says, Mahan Saptasya Prayogam Shaya describes so many granthas. Because for a different reason here, Shruti, Smriti, Itihasa, Purana, Upapuranas, how many granthas are there to teach us about the Dharma, Jnana? But both paths, Pravritti Dharma and Nivritti Dharma, gone. They are inventing their own third path. Tritiya Vatha, Mudha Tatparyana, Vihitam Abhignaya. They are not understanding what is taught to them and they are creating something new. Shuddha Advaita Vidya Virodhana. In the end, they will forget this Advaita, which will give Samanvaya for everybody. Dhurnitya Shrutyartha Viruddham Dharmam, Shrutyartha Viruddham Tatparyam Swigritya Sarve Kumata Shila. They have taken the meaning of the Veda, they have taken some intention which is against the Vedas and they have followed Durmatas. Kartatvamisha Jagatam, O Parameshwara, you are the creator of the worlds. You are Mama Keshavasya Teja. You are the Tejas which shines within me and Vishnu. Because this is Shiva Pradhana Grantha, it will say like this. Yuganta Samaye Layakartra Bhava, you are that which who does the pralaya at the end. Tasmat Bhuvi Prabhati, when you are able to do the pralaya of the world itself, you please take care of the pralaya of all these durmatas. Tasmat Bhuvi Prabhala Kutsita Durmataram Nashaya Chintaya Samuddhara Veda Marga. Why should you care about all those durmatas? Let it be there. No, no, no. You have to take care of the Veda Marga. For that only I am praying to you. And this is the Prarthana of Brahma. With this I will take a break here. And we will continue later. Iti Brahmana Prastuta Shri Parameshwara, what Parameshwara Anugraha he gave to Brahma, that is later on, and his Shankaravata, it is, we will see it in later session. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, Namah Parvati, Pataye Hara Hara Mahadeva, Gopika Jeevana Smaranam, Govinda Govinda.